Hi, I'm Heath from vMix. Today we're looking at Open Media Transport, or OMT for short. It's an open source and royalty-free protocol for sending live video with alpha over your local network. vMix 29 and onwards fully supports OMT. To add an OMT source in vMix, just click on Add Input, then select NDI OMT Desktop Capture, select an OMT source, and click OK. Now to send OMT out from vMix, open your settings, go to Outputs NDI OMT SRT, select an output, specify what you're sending, turn it on, and click OK. Well, that was pretty quick. If you want to learn more about OMT, you might want to stick around, but if that's all you needed for now, thanks for watching. All right, let's start at the beginning and explain what OMT actually is. It's an open source and royalty-free protocol. This means anyone can use it in their projects and can make changes and improvements to it. It may help to think about it this way. vMix has supported SRT for many years. It's an open source and royalty-free protocol best suited to sending video over the internet securely and reliably. OMT is similar in that it's also open source and royalty-free, but it's best suited to sending video over regular, local gigabit networks. And it does that at high quality and low latency. And the reason it can do this is because under the hood, it uses a codec called vMix. vMix is a fast and efficient codec created by vMix and freely contributed to the OMT protocol. This is the same codec that vMix uses for instant replay and high-quality recording. For specifics on the codec and all things OMT, just go to omt.video and click on Documentation. This covers the bandwidth for different resolutions, frame rates, and quality settings, the way that multi-channel audio is handled, the network protocol used, how metadata and discovery is handled, and a bunch more if you're interested. One question you might be asking is, when should I use OMT over other options out there? Well, first and foremost, if you need to send live video from one vMix system on your network to another, OMT is ideal, especially if that second vMix system is recording, multicording, or running instant replay. Why? Because that vMX codec that I mentioned earlier means the video is already in vMix's native format. This can save a lot of processing resources because most of the work is already done before it arrives. Thanks to the OMT plugin for OBS, you can also send content from there too, and gain the same performance benefits. Another reason you might use OMT is if you are screen capturing a Mac or Windows computer. Using the free desktop capture for OMT apps, you can screen share to your vMix PC on the same network, fast and efficiently at high quality. Yet another reason is that affordable products like Raspberry Pi 5s can encode and decode OMT, potentially saving you a lot of money in external devices. And I'll just add this. Because OMT is open source and royalty-free, it means that anyone, including you, can create new ways to customize and use it for live video production. So if you like to tinker, head to omt.video to access the latest binaries. Okay, now that you have some ideas of what OMT is for, let's head back into vMix and add some more OMT sources. Here you can see that I've already added my camera with embedded audio and a video file. As I showed earlier, adding an OMT input is very simple. I go to Add Input, select NDI OMT Desktop Capture, and here we see all of the OMT and NDI sources that are on the network. The great thing about OMT and NDI is their discoverability. You don't need to know IP addresses or port numbers. If they're connected to the network, they'll just appear here. In vMix, you'll also get a handy thumbnail image, so it's easy to find the source you need. The source type is shown in the thumbnails as well, and if you have a lot of sources, these tools up here help you filter and list them. Now, because this video is about OMT and not NDI, I'm going to untick NDI up here. And this filter's just for OMT. If you're interested in learning more about NDI, check out our video dedicated to this. Now I'll drag over these two OMT sources to select them. Down here, you can turn on one or more features. Low bandwidth mode will substantially reduce the resolution of your sources, while audio only will bring in just the audio and leave the video behind entirely. These options save bandwidth and processing resources. I'll show you how to toggle them on and off shortly. Next is PSF, which stands for Progressive Segmented Frame. For more details about this, check out our NDI video too. Increased buffer size is designed to compensate for network congestion. Ticking this option can improve the smoothness of the video, but will increase latency by approximately 5 frames. Last is FEIM. This stands for Faulty Encoder Isolation Mode and is designed to protect vMix from problematic NDI sources that can carry corruption. OMT is not susceptible to this, and so this feature should not be used for OMT. With my two OMT sources selected, I'll now click on OK. Now let's look at some OMT specific settings. If I right-click on an OMT input, the first thing I see is Preview Mode. This is the low bandwidth mode we saw earlier. It's called Preview Mode because you should only use it when the source isn't live in your production. Next is the Audio Only button, as discussed earlier, and below that is Suggested Quality. OMT can be set to low, medium, or high quality. Head to omt.video to see the bandwidth requirements of each. The sender is in charge of quality, but receivers can also suggest a desired quality. Here's how it works. If the sender specifies a quality, be it low, medium, or high, all receivers will get this quality, regardless of what the receivers suggest. But if the sender does not set a quality, as in they leave the quality on default, then the receivers can suggest a desired quality. If there are multiple receivers, then the highest request will win and all will receive this quality. If no one sets a quality, as in all leave on default, then medium quality will be set until someone sets a specific quality. In most cases, it is recommended that the sender specifies a quality, as this will ensure that the quality cannot fluctuate during your production if receivers make differing requests. Next are some properties. These are details about the OMT source, including the manufacturer and model, network information, and video and audio format. And lastly, we have the list of OMT sources available. We can easily switch between them by selecting them right here. To save on network bandwidth, rather than adding every OMT source individually into vMix as an input, I can just switch between them. In fact, I can even set up shortcut buttons, think sort of macros, to do this. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go up and click on Settings and click on Shortcuts. From here, I click on Add and then Find. I'll designate the Q key on the keyboard, but you can use another keyboard key or a Stream Deck button or a multitude of other controller buttons that we support. To find the right function, I simply type in OMT. Here, I've got two functions that I want to look at. We've got OMT select source by index and OMT select source by name. As a special note, these two shortcuts have matching shortcuts for NDI sources. So if you have NDI sources rather than OMT ones, just type NDI and you'll find the equivalents. Say I want to map a row of buttons to the first 4 OMT sources in the list. I could use the OMT select source by index function by creating 4 shortcuts and setting each one to a different value from 0 to 3. For this demo though, I want to select a specific OMT source, so I'll use OMT select source by name. I'll set the input here to the OMT source I want to be toggling, and the value needs to be the exact name of the OMT source that I want to switch to. This is shown in the right-click menu and comprises the device name, then a space, followed by the source in brackets. I'd like to select the ASUS laptop's output 1, so I will type that in now. I'll add a title I'll go with the OMT, make it a local shortcut, click OK, OK again, and now my Q key is ready to switch to that source. And there we go. Okay, we've looked at how to bring OMT sources into vMix and their settings and controls. Now let's output OMT from vMix for other applications and devices to receive. Going up to Settings and selecting Outputs NDI OMT SRT. From here, we can specify an output. We'll go with output 2. We can nominate what we're outputting, and if we've selected output here, we can also specify whether our overlays are shown in that output. I'm going to leave them all on, and if you want to know more about this, watch our overlay video. There are a few more settings over here, so let's click on them to take a look. First up, we have audio channels. Here, it's set to master by default, but you can select from a variety of bus combinations. Next is a 20 dB boost. This allows you to increase the audio by 20 decibels for downstream applications that expect it. Next, we can set the alpha channel to pre-multiplied or straight. This is particularly useful if sending out graphics with transparency to other systems. So provided your background is transparent in vMix, overlaying your content in other applications like OBS is easy. The next setting is the resolution. You can nominate this if you want to downscale your output to match the receiving device's resolution, or if you want to reduce bandwidth. The last setting is a specific OMT setting, and it's the quality that we discussed earlier. As we are sending OMT, we're in charge of the quality unless we leave this as default. Let's set this to high so that the very highest quality is shared. We'll now click on OK to save those settings. For me to turn on OMT, I simply press the button here. I can also turn on the output of all directly connected cameras, vMix calls, and live audio inputs. Once I've turned the things on that I want to turn on, I simply click on OK, and the OMT output will begin. So we're now sending out OMT from vMix using output 2. This can now be received by applications and devices on the network. A lot of the companies and applications that support OMT are listed by going to omt.video. Here you can see the adopters, and clicking on the download button, you'll also find links to Windows and Mac OMT tools. These offer OMT routers, viewers, desktop capture, discovery configuration, signal generators, and plugins for other applications like OBS. In fact, let me finish up by showing you how easy it is to bring an OMT source from vMix into OBS using the OMT plugin. With the plugin installed by following the README file, I simply go to the plus button in Sources. I select OMT source and then set the name. I'll type vMix output 2 and click OK. Now I'll pick my vMix output 2 source. I'll leave the suggested quality as default because I know it's already being sent at high quality from vMix. I'll also leave the color space as default. And finally, the preview mode will stay off. And I'll click OK. And there we go. While we're here, if I want to send from OBS using OMT, I can just go up to Tools, select OMT Output Settings, and enable the output. I just need to give it a name and click OK. So that's a full rundown of OMT. I hope you found this helpful and that you can find ways to use it yourself in your own productions, or maybe you can help make it even better by contributing to the OMT project. If you're already using OMT, let us know in the comments below. And if you have questions about OMT or anything vMix, we'd love to answer them. Hit us up at vmix.com. There you can also download our free 60-day trial of vMix Pro. This has all the features and no restrictions. The website also has heaps of information about vMix, as does our YouTube channel, so feel free to explore and learn more so that you can make your live content shine. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.